What's up guys, welcome to this POV review by AutoTopNL. My name is Max and today we're taking a look at this 2018 BMW 230i. And why, you might ask? Well, this is the one that is, well, just a bit cheaper than the M240i. It has a 4-cylinder engine and we drove that BMW 125i a couple of months ago and we were pleasantly surprised by it. So we thought, let's take this one as well, because this 2 Series, you know, it's a cool little car and we have a very cool spec today. Sunset orange, I really love that color. We've got winter tires with these 17-inch wheels, but you can get 18-inch black wheels at as a no-cost option. We have an M pack, an M Sport pack, so that means we've got cool M Sport bumpers and a little spoiler over here, so the M aerodynamic pack. We're going to take it for a drive around this road and see what it's like, because I think that this car is sort of the embodiment of the old BMW spirit. It's a small rear-wheel drive coupe with a nice engine. It's a 4-cylinder, but don't forget the first M3 also had a 4-cylinder, the E30. And well, it's a bit cheaper than an M240i, but that engine is actually quite nice to drive. And nowadays, you know, the M3 has gotten quite heavy compared to the older BMWs that, you know, we know and love. So I think that this is more or less the modern version of those old rear-wheel drive coupes by BMW. So this weighs about 1400 kilos and it has 252 horsepower and 350 newton meters of torque. So that should be enough to get this little car moving around a bit. We've got winter tires, so that also means that they are a little bit slippery. They don't have that much grip on a dry surface. So yeah, it's a fun little car. So let's take a look inside. We've got this Dakota leather with sport seats, electrically adjustable. And other than that, this is the LCI. So this is the facelift, which means we've got those new LED daytime running lights at the front, new shape of angel eye light at the front as well, and the new LED rear lights. And in here it means that we have a revised interior, as we saw in the BMW M2 POV review. You can watch that one up here. And that means we have the new iDrive 6 system with this touchscreen, 8-inch screen, I think, something like that. We've got an M Sport steering wheel as well with pedal shifters. -3 degrees Celsius outside, so it is quite cold. So let's engage the heated steering wheel. Yes, it has that. I love it. And the heated seats, of course. And let's take it for a drive, see what it's like. So we've got an 8-speed ZF automatic gearbox. You know I love it. I've said it many times before. It's a great gearbox. And let's see if this is still fun. You know, the old 30i models by BMW used to have a 6-cylinder. So the old 130i had that inline 6 with 265 horsepower, and this 30i with that 4-cylinder engine only has 252. So while most of the time the downsizing means that we go down in cylinders but up in power, this time it actually goes down in power compared to the old engine. And of course we will miss that lovely, beautiful sound of that 6-cylinder engine. And that is quite brisk. Of course, the sound is being pumped into the cabin through the speakers, and it's quite loud with this one. But let me just get out of sport mode and do it in comfort. Yeah, I think it's a little less loud when you're in comfort, so in sport it gets a bit louder. And we don't have the adaptive dampers today, so compared to an M240i, of course, the damping is a little less stiff, and an M240i has those adjustable dampers as standard. It's an option for this one, but we don't have it today, the adaptive dampers. But what this is, you know, it's not a hardcore sports car, balls to the wall, like an M240i, which isn't really compared to an M2, but it is very sporty. And of course we miss that 6-cylinder compared to the M240i. But I have to say that before driving this car, you know, I knew I really liked that 125i. I thought that was a very cool car. But I didn't think I would like this one so much. That engine is really punchy, and it doesn't really feel like a 4-cylinder. I have to say that, because it's quite happy to rev, and it delivers its maximum torque between 1500 and 4800, something like that. So you always have that push from that torque, 350 Newton meters. So I don't think there's much coming from the exhaust in terms of sound. I think it's mainly that engine and the sound actuator, or whatever it's called. But I have to say that, you know, if you don't have the money for an M240i, this is not a bad option. The only thing is that this car in the Netherlands costs 50,000 euros, and an M140i, so an M140i, costs about 56. So I think that's not that much difference, and I would prefer a 5-door 1 Series anyway. So for me, I would always go for an M140i, but compared to an M240i, this car is less dull or less disappointing than I thought it would be. Okay, so no one behind me, no one here. Launch control. So that's 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, 5.6 seconds. That's not bad either. Whoa, mother! Well, that was a suicidal bird. So 5.6 seconds, top speed 250 kilometers an hour. We did it yesterday on the Autobahn, and it gets there. It does need a little bit of space, of course, but it does get there. And the cool thing about this car is, you know, it's very understated. It's not an M performance, it's very clean. But it is a fun little driver's car. 1400 kilos, the chassis is incredible. It's still very comfortable, but it just handles really, really well. And that rear drive balance is just so much fun. I think especially in the wet, this car would be so entertaining, because it's not that powerful. Of course, 252 horsepower, it's okay, but it's not that powerful, so you don't get in trouble that easily. The chassis is incredible, the steering feel is great, although we do have that variable steering that gets heavier and stuff. So if I put it in comfort, I think, yeah, it's lighter, which I prefer, but it doesn't get as comically heavy as an M3, for instance, when you have an Sport Plus. So that's a plus as well. And this is the only coupe in this class. I mean, the 1 Series competes with cars like an A3 or a Mercedes A-Class, cars like those, but there aren't really that much cool, well-driving coupes anymore. And I think that BMW did a great job really capturing that BMW driving essence, you know, that coupe rear-wheel drive. Unfortunately, in Holland, this is only available with an automatic. I would have loved a manual gearbox as well. But, you know, this is a fun car, and it's not as far off an M240i as I thought it would be. So I think that's the conclusion for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. You can subscribe by clicking on the little icon in the bottom right corner. And you can follow us on social media. Just search for AutoTopNL. Thanks guys, bye.